paradigm shift. And that's the journey that we're on now. So, frankly speaking, never been more bullish on where we are in the cycle here. These things always take longer than people expect. And then suddenly in hindsight, all of these things are there. And I think very few people would have realized that we have, decentralized finance applications and protocols storing such large sums of assets.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, we are going to be discussing and talking about some of these outrageous XRP price predictions. We're going to be covering market sentiment and talking about the current market environment, risk on, risk off, going over that in detail. And the reason why I'm attempting to make a video breakdown like this is so that way you all, as my followers, have a realistic perspective on the current market environment and you're not feeding into unrealistic hopium like this. And what this will allow you to do is really empower yourself with proper education about the current market landscape. So that way you don't get fudded out of this market in the short term, and you understand that even Ripple representatives have told you on stage that
I would say, the recognition is no longer niche, the liquidity is still niche. And there's a couple of outlined reasons for that: regulatory, compatibility, user protection in general, usability. Some of these like DeFi protocol, they're quite clunky. And some of these blockchain networks are also fragmented, right? Like there's a lot of interoperability being built, and I believe there will be more interoperability possible through the open sourceness, programmability of these protocols as opposed to TradFi. And so there's definitely, we're at the very early innings, so to speak. So I would say like we're seeing growth. If you look at the stablecoin as a financial instrument, for example, 3 years ago, the total market cap was around 5 billion. Now it's like 150 billion. And people tend to overestimate these kind of dynamics, maybe, in the short term, but then underestimate it in the long term, which is, an insight for somebody.
Most likely in the long run and not in the short term. So it would behoove you all to understand why the current market landscape has witnessed and experienced an insane sell-off. Over $200 billion has been liquidated from the cryptocurrency market since the beginning of September, leaving most market participants in crypto, especially XRP enthusiasts, reading outrageous price predictions, wondering why their digital assets are not performing well. And so in today's video breakdown, I'm going to attempt to show you all that here at CYPRX, we've been covering this publicly for you all to tap into, so that way you are not misled. Understand that even though I am covering the current market sentiment, explaining to you all that prices are down, I have a long-term perspective in this market that we are going to experience significant price appreciation, but when the timing is right. So with that being said, if you all enjoy these educational video breakdowns, really informing you all with what's actually happening in the market and not pumping these hopium price targets out to you guys, really focusing on our education and laying a solid foundation for understanding the markets in which we trade in or invest in, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe, always keeping it real with you guys. So these types of price predictions, especially for a digital asset that I've been bullish on and have been holding since 2017, absolutely blow my mind and make me disgusting. Now, if you're projecting these targets to come into fruition in years from now, absolutely 110%, I agree with you to a certain extent. Again, I am bullish on the digital asset landscape long term, but to believe that these are going to materialize overnight is what creates disgust amongst new investors that come into this space. They invest, they read articles like this, or they listen to bullish moon boys, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, a couple months from now, these price predictions have not come into fruition. This is what creates distaste in this cryptocurrency ecosystem. This type of stuff needs to stop, which is why it is my attempt here at CYPRX to properly educate you all on the current market landscape so you understand why XRP is not $100, $50 right now. That's not to say in the future, at some point in time, these targets could not materialize. I hope that they do, because I will be a multi-millionaire if that does happen. However, we need to understand why it's not happening now. So just reading 2 fundamental pieces to show you all that this is common amongst retail articles. XRP price set for $50, question mark. Top analyst sees major gains as support holds. They're predicting these types of price projections off of historical price patterns and off of random technical analysis indicators, which do not move markets. We also see over here another fundamental piece, September 8th, XRP price to $100. Why has it not hit this price yet? So the reason why I'm attempting to show you all that you should be avoiding these fundamentals and instead fixating on your education is so that way you can survive until these high price targets do materialize. Individuals that are thinking that $50 XRP or $100 XRP is going to materialize overnight or even next week or even a month from now are absolutely delusional. That is not happening, and I can say that with 110% confidence. As this market matures and trillions of dollars flood in, once the environment calls for it, I have a firm belief that these types of price predictions will eventually materialize, but we need to understand why that's not happening now. Large investors and market participants like Rob Paul, which a lot of the retail space likes to fixate on, has talked about this publicly on his platform before. Now, I just want to play a quick video clip to show you all that here at CYPRX, we were talking about this months ago, calling for this most recent market pullback on a particular video clip. But I want to share with you all a clip from Rob Paul specifically talking about what we fixate on here at CYPRX, which is the fundamental side of why the market's performing the way that it's performing or the lack of price appreciation thereof. So real quick, let's just play this fast video clip from Rob Paul's YouTube, and it's labeled "How Safe is Crypto Right Now?" Take a second and just listen to what they're talking about.
Someone on talking to you, but should I be worried? Talk to the individual investor while I close this door because my kids are screaming outside, and tell me whether or not I should be worried about what the hell's going on.
Yeah, when you invest in the crypto asset class, you expect volatility. If I go back over all the years I've invested, most years you get 2, 3, or even 4 30% drawdowns. This one in Bitcoin has been 27%. It's kind of within the range of normality. And what you need to ask yourself is the main drivers of crypto are the business cycle, i.e. where are we with the economy? Well, we're starting to pick up slowly. Inflation's coming down. Rates are going to come down. Liquidity is going to come in. And so therefore, that's usually a very good time for crypto. So the tailwind is behind you. And the other thing, are people adopting the technology? Are things being built on it? And that's ongoing too. So when you see a news event like the last few days, driven by macro factors, you tend to think they're likely to be short term. Now, if the business cycle was getting old and the economy was starting to feel a bit more fragile, then yes, you might be worried about it. But this is early in the cycle. And generally, you have to expect the volatility. And how I've always dealt with it is a Jedi mind trick, which is you look forward to it. When it happens, you can buy more and you get to compound your returns much better than anybody else who just does nothing or tries to trade around it. So you should be thinking of these sell-offs as a gift. Is, oh, wow, if I can find a bit more cash, I can put it into the market. And you tend to do really well over the cycle by doing that strategy.
I have this whole theory. I'm going to test it on you. And I don't want to bore people with the yen carry trade because it took me 10 years to understand the yen carry trade, which is probably why I'm not on the Forbes 400 list like some of our friends. Right? I didn't know what the hell he meant, but basically you can borrow at very low interest rates in Japan, and then you can use that money to fuel your other assets.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right there. They go on to start to talk about the yen carry trade situation, which is unfolding. And I'm going to start to talk to you guys about that because, again, I want you all to understand the current market landscape and that here at CYPRX, we've been attempting to educate individuals on this situation and why it weighs on risk assets, which is, again, going to benefit you all in the short term. So that way you understand why $50 price targets and $100 price targets right now are not materializing. So that way you can do what? Take advantage, just like Rob Paul said, again, not financial advice, of discounted opportunities by understanding the temporary short-term effect, the negative implications in the risk asset class, particularly crypto, and see that as an opportunity to build bigger bags. Because when all of this materializes and it stops and the macro gets better, we will see, and again, my personal opinion, not financial advice, trillions upon trillions of dollars flood in. But that's not happening right now. And there's a reason for that. Large investors with much more money than you and I are hesitant to involve themselves in the most riskiest asset class on the face of this planet right now. And that is for a reason. On the CYPRX platform, our private YouTube, you can see right here, this is a fundamental piece from August 25th, 2024. This is a Zoom recording that we have with the private community members. I'm going to play a really quick video clip, and then I'm going to show you all an updated fundamental piece talking about exactly what we were covering days ago. Now, let's go back and look at the total cryptocurrency market cap real fast. I want to share a screen with you all because I want to take you back to where prices were on August 25th, back when we had the Zoom call. So here is the total cryptocurrency market cap. I still have yet to delete any drawings from that particular video breakdown because I keep the private community members updated every single day and every single week. Here is August 25th. It was a Sunday, 2024. You can see that the total cryptocurrency market cap topped out at roughly around $2.24 to $2.3 trillion. And from that market high and that rally that we had in August rolling over into September, we have decreased in value. Look at this, taking from the high back in August 2024 on the 25th and going down to where we currently sit now. The market has lost over $358 billion. Yet again, investors, market analysts, right? The people that these retail articles are written on are telling you all that $50 XRP price targets are going to come into fruition when they don't even understand why over $300 billion has been liquidated from this market. Ladies and gentlemen, please smash that thumbs up button and subscribe for what it is that I'm about to play for you guys. Because again, remember, back in August, we were at $2.23 trillion. Check this out. Here at CYPRX, we were talking about this to our private community members, sharing for them and letting them know that we were most likely going to experience a market pullback. I'm going to play a quick video clip of a Zoom call that we had back on that day, August 25th, when the market was at 2.23 trillion. Keep in mind what Rob Paul just mentioned about the yen carry trade, the temporary market conditions possibly negatively affecting the crypto landscape and seeing it as an opportunity. Listen to what we told our private community days ago on August 25th, just to show you all that here at CYPRX, we're at the forefront of teaching people properly about the current market environment and not pumping out bullish moonboy crap, telling our private community members that XRP is going to go to $50 tomorrow or $100 tomorrow, and accurately letting them know what's going to unfold. Check this out, and that we will most likely see. Inversely, if the risk sentiment changes and we see an outflow of risk assets and more demand for safe haven due to a risk-off market environment driven by some of the fundamental factors that I mentioned, like increase in geopolitical escalations and tensions, any new breaking headlines that cause fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or investors to flock to safe haven assets like recessionary fears, new war announcements, whatever the case may be. We have the yen carry trade possible unwinding further, right, with rate hikes from the Bank of Japan midweek. All of those things are factors that could weigh on risk sentiment, and that would therefore turn this most likely into an area of a liquidity grab, distribution in either a small pullback or a deep pullback to correct some of the previous bullish move from the middle of the month. Boom, right there. Just to show you guys, I'm not tooting my own horn and why it's imperative that you pay attention to accurate information like this instead of bullish moonboy hopium. Because here at CYPRX, back at the end of August, we were able to sell some of our positions, roll those profits over into stable coins that are now earning yield during this market downturn, and our portfolio has barely lost any value because we were able to see the market environment. Not because we can predict with the magic crystal ball or magic technical analysis indicators, but because we understand the fundamentals that drive risk on, risk off. And at CYPRX, we cover this every single day for our private community and every single week for our private community, not only with typed out fundamentals, but also with Zoom call breakdowns. So again, if you want access to calls like this, there's 66 views on this. Okay, that means 66 private members saw this and attended this Zoom call and were able to prepare for this market pullback. Now, fast forward to where we currently sit. You guys can see, looking at the prediction. Okay, check this out. Here's the prediction on the 25th of August, and here's the current market landscape. We predicted this pullback to the T of a degree. We didn't overextend it. We didn't say that the market was going to crash and everybody was going to lose all their money. No, we accurately predicted this based off of a fundamental understanding. If you want to understand these types of things and why the market pulls back like this, and stop fixating so much on this bull crap that most likely you've been fixated on the entirety of your investing career, because this is all that's broadcasted to mainstream retail articles and news outlets, tap in. Head over to CYPRXtrading.com. Yes, we charge a small fee for you to join our community, but that's because I sit at my computer for 10 to 12 hours a day pumping out information, and same thing as the other mentors inside CYPRX. Our institutional scalper, Mr. Aqua, we're always actively engaged, always actively pumping out information of value to our private community members. Again, I'm telling you all, tap in. So let's dive in. I'm going to give you guys an updated version of the current market environment so that way you understand why your assets, particularly in this case, XRP, it's not worth $50 right now. It's not worth $100 right now, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen this upcoming weekend. And I can almost with certainty, 110% tell you it's not going to happen next week or the week after that. It's not going to happen until the risk sentiment changes hands. And investors that actually control the prices of these markets, that's investors with much more money than retail, are able and willing to take on risk, right? So with that being said, let's cover this. September 8th, 2024, this is our private community report. These are the type of reports that we type out to the private members every single day to keep them in the loop with what's happening. And then I'll leave you guys here so that way you understand what's going on in crypto. Crypto market update, key factors impacting risk assets. Again, keep in mind, we were talking about this back on the 25th, and now these things have materialized. Looking back at last week, we witnessed another significant outflow of risk assets like crypto. To give you a clear understanding of what's weighing on the market, I will focus on two major factors. As a community, it is important that we keep a close eye on any developments related to these factors in the coming weeks. Number one, safe haven demand and yen strength. One of the key drivers behind the recent sell-off is the increased demand for safe haven assets, like we mentioned back in the video on August 25th, particularly the Japanese yen. Expectations of imminent rate hikes from the Bank of Japan have supported the yen, which has had a ripple effect across global markets, including US stocks and crypto. A major factor influencing this dynamic is the yen carry trade. And here is a clickable article for our private members where they can go in and they can actually read about this. The carry trade strategy involves borrowing in a low interest rate currency like the yen to invest in higher yielding assets like stocks and crypto. And for years, the Bank of Japan's ultra loose rates encouraged this strategy, leading to substantial investments in global risk assets. However, the fear now is that much of the recent rally in risks has been fueled by this cheap borrowing. If the carry trade unwinds further, it could pose a significant threat to risk assets, including crypto, which is why it's important for you all to pay attention, because if this starts to unwind further, we saw how back on the 31st, when the Bank of Japan hiked rates and the yen carry trade unfolded at a rapid pace, what happened to crypto? Crypto went from 2.4 trillion all the way down to 1.7 trillion, which is a massive depreciation in price. Okay. And you need to understand that that risk is not alleviated from the market, which is exactly why larger investors are hesitating from taking aggressive bullish bets right now. That's not to say that in the future, when this environment changes, or if it changes next week or the week after, that couldn't change the market environment. But right now, this is the current market sentiment. So with the Bank of Japan expected to raise rates yet again, currency moves driven by interest rate differentials are likely to continue influencing global markets. As Standard Bank's Steve Barrow noted, the unwinding of the carry trade reversed decades of investment in overseas assets funded by the yen, further weighing on risk assets. Number two, the second thing weighing on risk assets last week was the Federal Reserve and recessionary concerns. Now, adding to the market woes, recessionary fears are also growing, fueled by recent comments from Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee. He expressed concerns last week on Thursday that the Federal Reserve's current monetary policy, combined with signs of economic weakness, could possibly lead to a sharper than expected slowdown in economic activity. Recessionary fears tend to weigh heavily on risk assets like crypto because a slowing economy reduces investor appetite for risk. Like I mentioned, larger investors with much more money than you and I are hesitant from taking aggressive bullish bets right now. As larger investors shy away from making aggressive bullish bets, we've seen a massive $241 billion wiped from crypto in the market last week alone. Since the end of August, over $422 billion has been lost, with the total cryptocurrency market falling from a peak of $2.23 trillion on the 25th of August around $1.8 trillion today. So what's next for crypto? In our previous Zoom call, like I mentioned, on the 25th of August, we discussed the possibility of this scenario playing out. So we here in the CYPRX community, we're all prepared for this. Now, if the market does not find a bottom around 1.7 trillion to 1.8, and the risk appetite does not improve, we could be heading toward the December 2023 lows around 1.5 trillion, which again, I will see as an opportunity. Now, this analysis that I'm giving to you all is not intended to stir fear, but to keep you informed about the current market environment and not pump out this bullish crap to you guys when it's not ready. It's not time for this right now. So take advantage again of discounts, not financial advice. Do your own personal research, but keep in mind that this stuff that we cover here at CYPRX, it's short term, but it's a lot more accurate than this crap. If you're always fixated on this crap, you're going to get left behind, because in 6 months from now, when these targets don't come into fruition and you go on Twitter and you read a comment that says XRP is a scam, and maybe the risk sentiment worsens and XRP depreciates further in value, what is that going to do to your mentality? When you were reading in September bullish fundamentals telling you all that XRP price was going to go to $50, but in 3 months from now, if the risk sentiment worsens, which we're not going to know till we get there, but it's a possibility, and XRP depreciates down to 30 cents, 20 cents, which I will scoop up so much XRP if that happens, you're going to get manipulated. You're going to sell. You're going to think crypto's a scam. And it's because you don't have an educational foundation and understanding why XRP is not performing well, along with the rest of risk assets. It's not just XRP that's not performing. You could go to any altcoin and you could see massive depreciations across the board, right? Significant downwards momentum over the past consecutive couple of months. And it is because of certain fundamental factors, which is creating an environment where larger investors are hesitant from taking aggressive bullish bets. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, because I'm still optimistic, for crypto to regain momentum, this would be positive, as if we see a shift in risk sentiment. Specifically, we need to see larger investors willing to take on more risk and start to buy again, pushing the market back above the $2 trillion threshold. Now, in my personal opinion, if we can see a bullish break and hold above the $2 trillion mark with an improved market sentiment, this, in my personal opinion, would alleviate my downside perspective, where right now, based off the current risk sentiment, and if that sentiment dampens further, I'm predicting that we are going to tap down into $1.5 trillion. However, if that risk sentiment improves and we see larger investors picking up aggressive bullish bets and we can break above $2 trillion, I will alleviate that price target at 1.5 trillion, and I will become a lot more optimistic with the current market environment. So keep this in mind moving forward, that these are the two primary factors that have weighed on risk assets over the past consecutive couple of weeks: the yen carry trade and recessionary fears weighing on global risk sentiment, where larger investors than you and I are a lot more hesitant to take on risk considering these factors. Once these factors start to dissipate, they start to go away, we will see more aggressive bullish bets. But right now, as of time of recording this video breakdown, that is not to be the case. So being fixated on these fundamentals like this are, again, in my personal opinion, just straight up garbage. You should attempt to avoid them at all costs. You should attempt to join a like-minded community of individuals that are actively attempting to learn how to accurately analyze these markets through fundamentals, through technical analysis, through accurate institutional delta zones. We are constantly pumping out value to our community week after week. Head over to CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team. And if not, subscribe to the platform. The YouTube is free. Smash that thumbs up button. It does help boost the algorithm if you enjoy video breakdowns like this. And I will attempt over time to constantly keep you guys updated with video breakdowns like this one. With all of that in mind, again, this is not to pump fear, uncertainty, and doubt. This is to get you all to understand why $50 price targets on XRP are not happening tomorrow or the day after. So you actually understand why your portfolio over the past consecutive couple of weeks was in the red. With that being said, many blessings to you guys. Be cognizant, be aware out there, and I will see you all in the next video breakdown.